Tanaka, and good morning, everybody. Firstly, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Strategic Planning, National Development and Statistics, the Honourable Professor Biman Prasad, Permanent Secretary for Finance, Shiri Gaunda, representatives from the Fiji government, representatives from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here today. As you know, and you've heard from me many times, Australia and Fiji share a very deep and enduring partnership. And that partnership is underpinned by our Vivale partnership, our elevated and renewed Vivale partnership. And since the signing of that partnership just 18 months or so ago, Australia's committed a further 280 million Fijian dollars in new investments. And these, of course, include investments in things that are very important to the Fijian government around schools, also hospitals in terms of the master plan for the CWM, as well as renewable energy into rural areas, which, as you know, is a very important priority. And of course, it won't surprise you that Australia is very proud to be Fiji's largest development partner. And the budget support we are signing today forms a significant part of our commitment under the economic pillar of the Vivale partnership, renewed and elevated, and is one of our key areas of support. So over the last 5 years, Australia's provided 456 million Fijian dollars in grant-based budget support. So that's not loans, that's grant funding. The budget support, as you know, has helped Fiji buffer a range of economic shocks around COVID-19 and accelerate delivery of Fiji's priorities, development priorities. So it would go without saying that I'm very pleased with our budget support partnership with Fiji and the Fiji government, the Deputy Prime Minister, and indeed we had an independent evaluation by economists and public finance experts just last year in 2024. And it concluded that our budget support relationship had been very effective, highly effective. The evaluation found that Australia's budget support has promoted key reforms to strengthen the government budgeting and public financial management in Fiji, as well as supporting long-term economic growth through reforms to the business environment and the financial sector. So through our budget support program, we've worked with Fiji to secure the approval of Fiji's fiscal strategy, the update of the medium-term debt strategy, and the strengthening of the internal audit functions of government. As you would know, these are all critical in ensuring Fiji has a strong public financial management architecture. That program has also helped to support other emerging priorities of the Fiji government, including the recent approval of the National E-commerce Strategy to support Fiji's digital transformation ambitions and further strengthen the financial services sector. So we are proud to partner with the Fiji government as Fiji enhances its support for opportunities for women and girls through strengthening innovative gender-responsive budget initiative, as well as supporting the development of the government's Women's Economic Empowerment National Action Plan. I wanted to acknowledge the tremendous effort of the team here, and in particular the leadership of the Deputy Prime Minister and of course the Permanent Secretary. I think both have played a key role in the success of our budget support relationship, and as I said, through the independent evaluation, we've, I suppose, confirmed for Australia that relationship and that use of budget support is highly effective. And let me say, being a public servant myself, it's not a simple task to review legislation, regulations and policies and ensure they are international best practice. These reforms take time, and I want to particularly note and acknowledge the resources across government that have been used with the leadership of the Finance Department to get these reforms in place, and that's required the sort of leadership from the Deputy Prime Minister and the Permanent Secretary I spoke about earlier. So I'm confident that these ambitious reforms in the areas of public financial management, private sector development, climate resilience and gender equality will deliver important development benefits for Fiji both now and into the future. And with those words, I thank the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, along with the government officials and the media, for their presence here and for the close partnership that we share with Fiji through our renewed and elevated partnership, the Vale Partnership. And of course today we'll be signing off on a new commitment of funding, and I'll announce that now. Yeah, okay, good. So Australia will commit another 50 million Australian dollars, or 72 million Fijian dollars, in budget support for this financial year, and that I think is a very key indication of our strength of our partnership and our support for the priorities of the Fiji government. So thank you, Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, the Australian High Commissioner to Fiji and Special Envoy for the Pacific and Regional Affairs, His Excellency Biman McDonald. I want to begin by saying that Fiji and Australia have had a long and lasting relationship, and our diplomatic and development cooperation has been greatly strengthened under the renewed and elevated Vale Partnership. And foremost, let me say this on behalf of the government and the people of Fiji, that I am deeply appreciative of the leadership and the role that the Australian High Commissioner and my good friend Ian MacDonald has played in that elevated partnership in the last 2 years that we've been in government. And when you look at the time, you would think that it's a very short stint. But in that short stint, under your leadership, the relationship has really gone to the next big level. And I want to, at the outset, Excellency, wish you all the very best.
Okay.
I know that the Ministry of Finance and indeed the government and the people of Fiji will miss you here in Fiji, but we know that you will remain in the Pacific.
Yeah.
And that we will be continuing our relationship with you in many different ways. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last 5 to 6 years, the Australian government has provided over $580 million in development funding to Fiji. In fact, we have to repeat this all the time, that Australia is by far our largest development partner at the moment, and has been like that in the past as well. This support of $580 million in development funding to Fiji includes a total budget support grant of $400 million, grant support towards social welfare program of over $40 million, almost $60 million in grant support towards rebuilding of schools and other social infrastructure, and more recently $15 million so far for the CWM hospital, and there are many other high impact development support that we have received from Australia. If you look at what I've just given in terms of the support for our social infrastructure, particularly health and education in the last 2 years, has been very significant. The government of Australia and Fiji had entered into a funding agreement for budget support grant in May 2024. The funding arrangement covered the operations of 2023-2024 budget cycle with a disbursement of Australian 58 million, equivalent to 86.6 million Fijian, made against a suite of mutually agreed reform priorities, as pointed out by His Excellency, in the areas of public finance management and economic reforms for enhanced resilience. As His Excellency has already announced, today we are signing another Australian $50 million, equivalent of 72 million, to fund expenditures in the 2024-2025 and indeed in the 2025 and 2026 budget. Of course, as His Excellency said, this additional budget support financing is contingent upon government achieving a mutually agreed set of reforms, actions in the areas of public finance management, and reforms to support resilient and inclusive growth. In fact, we are very pleased with the budget support arrangement and the requirements, because it allows us as a government, as Ministry of Finance, to push through some of these key reforms which are contributing to more effective and accountable public financial management, including contributing to economic reforms and enhancing our social and climate resilience. We believe that sustainable economic growth and well-functioning public finance management systems are essential for stability and prosperity and the support that we provide through these to vulnerable groups. Let me also say that budget support policy-based operations has become a key modality for accessing grant funding support from development partners and concessional loan funding from multilateral institutions. And again, I want to thank His Excellency, thank the Australian government for also advocating very strongly on our behalf to some of the multilateral financing institutions and development partners for us to access more concessional loans and grants. The Australian government's willingness to continue to support Fiji again, is a testimony, is a demonstration of the Australian government and its people's confidence in our government's public financial management system and overall reform agenda. And I'm happy that His Excellency also pointed out the evaluations that have been carried out, and the result of that evaluation shows how effective, how well managed the support from Australia is to Fiji. Contrary to some comments lately about the Australian budget support to Fiji. Once again, Excellency, I want to repeat what I said right at the beginning, right at the outset. I want to thank you for your very strong, compassionate and considered leadership over the last 2 years. I must say that I've enjoyed working with you, with all your team, Andrew and Neil, and Erin and Claire and Nina and everybody else in your team.
It's a good time.
Because the relationship that we built over the last 2 years is significant, and I'm sure that that has not only helped us to get the support that we got in the last 2 years. But I think it's also set a broader foundation for a much deeper, meaningful relationship, engagement with Australia. And given Australia's leadership in the Pacific, in its support to all our regional institutions, we feel very delighted and happy about what we have achieved in the last 2 years with Australia, with working with you and everyone at the Australian High Commission. So thank you, and Vig Vinaka Bakalevu and Dhanyawad.
Vinaka. So date 7th of March. Okay.
So could I take one shot here, please?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.